$10 million. That's what Rich Rod says West Virginia needs to just compete. But we all know more is needed. What does John Kurtz think? We're going to ask him right now.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers again on the football side of things again today. Of course, Rich Rodriguez has made some comments about NIL. We're going to react to that. Going to be brought to you by Game Time. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Okay, so let's dive straight into this. Rich Rodriguez was not shy about the NIL portion of what is needed to compete this day and age. And John Kurtz comes on from John Kurtz. Obviously, you know he's got several things going on. He's got the newsletter. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Just tell everybody what you got going on really quick, John, and where you're from.
Yeah, appreciate that. So I covered K-State for 10 years, but traveled around the Big 12 doing it. So I've been covering the league for a while. Yeah, we got the show on YouTube. I have rebranded now, so everything just under the Open for Business umbrella. Okay. So the show and the YouTube channel, Open for Business, with John Kurtz, but you can find it on YouTube. If you just search my name, you'll find it too. I've got the Open for Business Big 12 newsletter, which you can subscribe to at ofbnews.com. Got over 5,000 Big 12 fans that do. It's totally free, and you get it twice a week. And you can follow me over on Twitter /X at JL Kurtz if you want a little more by-the-minute stuff going on throughout the week.
And I always say this, but I mean it. I really do feel like that John's one of the best that covers the Big 12 that's out there. We've known each other for years at this point. I have a lot of faith in John and what he does. So I like to promote John myself personally. I think he's great. So let's listen to this comment by Rich Rodriguez really quick, John, and I'll get your thoughts on this. And this goes for all teams in the Big 12 now. So.
Sorry, you mentioned just a range of numbers about over the cap. I'm sure you want like 50 million over the cap because what do you think is realistic to be competitive in that sense?
You know, I don't mind sharing with you if we got 10 over the cap, 10 million over the cap, I think that kind of gives you an opportunity to be competitive in your league. You know, I don't know what some of the other. I know there's a few in our league that are probably twice or three times that, but you can be competitive with maybe, but that's a big number. And
so John, obviously he seems like he's not even too confident we can get there, right? Even though West Virginia's rolled out this process for being in the top funding tier of the Big 12 over the last couple of weeks, as you've probably seen. Ren Baker and company has said the Board of Governors and the university are aligned with West Virginia. We're going to support them fully. We're going to try to put us in the top funding tier of the Big 12. My question to you is, what is that?
It's a great question. And first of all, kudos to West Virginia for the university being willing to do that, because I always remember John Weefall, the old president of K-State, talking about athletics being the front door for the university and how important it was when he hired and then supported financially Bill Snyder when he was getting going at the school, because they viewed that as just an important thing for enrollment, and it worked. Enrollment went way up. It's very important to the schools, but I think you've got a lot of places. Jamie Pollard at Iowa State seems to be one AD that's fighting against this. I mean, I can tell you at K-State, the university is not in lockstep in the same way to try and provide some funding to athletics to make this happen. So there are a lot of places across the league that just are not going to do it that way. And then more pressure, obviously, on your donors to step up. So kudos to, I think I would just tell West Virginia fans that first and foremost. I think you're a step ahead of the game in some respects by the fact that you even have that. That is something I talked about briefly on my show when it came up. Like, I think it's that important. And it drew my attention that West Virginia got that locked down. Now, as far as like what that number is, it's a moving target. I think it's like impossible to know right now, because we were supposed to be in an era right now where the CSC was going to be actually like adjudicating fair market value deals and all this stuff. And if you've paid attention to some of the reporting that's come out about that, it's just been a mess.
It's been everywhere.
Taken too long to get answers. Schools just bypassing it anyway. I mean, it just seems like as you might expect. Anything that I guess maybe that's not technically the NCAA, but anything NCAA or NCAA adjacent is going to be a little bit of a train wreck. It's been a train wreck. And so I think anybody that had an illusion of this,
Deloitte,
like just being $20.5 million and the rev share number, that's out the window. And I think the arms race in the Big 12 probably gets accelerated a little bit by the amount of success that Texas Tech is having this year, because
exactly.
Look, they went out and spent all that money, and now you got to do it smart, right? You have to be smart about it. And I think that's another key. James Blanchard deserves a lot of credit, the GM at Texas Tech, who's done a fabulous job. You still have to identify talent and spend that money well. I think their strategy spending on the lines has been incredibly efficient. Like, that's the way to go. That's the way to gain an advantage, is get better in the trenches than everybody, as opposed to blowing it on a bunch of skill position players. So you still have to be smart, but Tech is showing that, hey, there's a blueprint to do this. Like, one thing I made a big deal about on my show and in my newsletter this week is, so Bud Elliott, who's the blue chip ratio guy, he's the father of that. He was sparring with Tech fans, not believing in him this offseason. I'm not going to call him like a Big 12 hater, but he's just such a realist about the world of the Power 2 and everybody else. He's not been one to give the Big 12 a lot of credit. Well, he just pointed out how the S&P Plus rankings this week show there's only a 1 touchdown difference between number 1 and number 17 in the rankings this week. And in 2019, there was a 3 touchdown gap. So the point is, and Texas Tech's number 4, by the way, in that. So the point is,
you're talking about Bill Connolly's rankings.
Yeah, Bill Connolly's rankings at ESPN. So he the point there, if you're following me on this, is everybody's way more bunched together. Talent is far more spread out. And there's a much greater opportunity for a team to win playoff games or even win a national championship if you're just in that group. And Texas Tech's up toward the top of that group, even at number 4. So the guys that were the most skeptical about what Tech could do with that money coming into the year are saying, hey, actually, like this, I mean, it looks like Tech could have about as good a chance as almost anybody right now to even win a national championship. So I'm adjusting. I'm recalibrating based on that. And I think that's going to ramp up pressure for everybody across the league to hit whatever the number is going to be. Now, as far as like concrete, what did Tech spend this year? Depends on where you look. I mean, there were some stories way back in the offseason that were pinning it at like $40 million. Then you had some that came out more recently that were like $28-ish million. So if it's 28, right, then you're talking about, well, that number is 7 above rev share. And so Rich Rod's number would be in 10 above rev share would be right in line. But I think if you would expect Tech's roster spend and everybody else's roster spend to like stay the same, unfortunately, that is foolish. It's going to keep going up. So you're probably looking at more. I just think it's impossible to know exactly how much more. And, the more I talk through this and like think about it, I'm just like, dude, it's just going to be crazy.
Well, it's a crushing weight.
It is. It's a huge weight. I mean, and donor fatigue, at some point donor fatigue will set in. And this is why, I mean, there's just so much pressure on winning. And it's why people can't accept losing seasons anymore at all, even though there's a far greater chance of a bottom dropping out of a season because of the way the sport's structured now. But you think about it, like you start having a couple bad years when your donors have spent big, good luck getting them to do it again. When you bring the next guy in, like it just gets tougher and tougher. So there's a lot of pressure. I think to your point, there's a lot of pressure to get it right because of how much is having to be invested by all these donors right now.
And the antithesis of that is Texas Tech, when you have success, they're probably going to want to spend more, to your point. Yeah. And so that gap is going to grow, right? Which is why Rich Rod is probably pitching it way out 2 or 3 times more than us. I don't know if we get to 10, if there will be 3 times more, but maybe 2. I mean, I could see that. And maybe it does get to 3. I mean, they've got an endless supply of money. I mean, Cody Campbell's got, just him and himself could give them $30 million and it wouldn't even impact him at all. So, I mean, if he really wants to win a national championship, it's out there for him, which is going to be a wild scenario if it happens in the Big 12. Also good for the Big 12. Real quick before we go to break and go to this Holy War talk, do you worry about Texas Tech being more poachable now? Because I think you take Texas Tech, you take Cody Campbell, right? Do you think he still fights for college football if his team is in the in crowd now?
It's a good question. I mean, do I worry about Tech being more poachable? Eventually, like I think we all have a tendency to get out in front of our skis, and I'm trying to be careful enough doing about it. I realize I just kind of hype them up. Hey, they're sort of in a group that could win a national championship. I mean, we are still halfway through season one of this experiment, basically, with Tech
apart.
going all in. I think they need to develop a brand legitimately by doing it over the course of a couple of years, but eventually could they be more poachable? Absolutely. And the Cody Campbell stuff, look, I mean, I hear a lot of this skepticism, and I understand. Like, I understand why people would look at it and be like, hey, does this guy really care about the general welfare of college athletics, or is it about making sure his school survives and then he'll kind of take the foot off the gas? All I can tell you is, like, I've had some conversations with the guy. He seems very genuine as far as I can tell when I talk to him, but I do not have an in-depth
get him on the
relationship
show
with him. Well, I talked to him about it. And then he was at Media Day. The 365 guys found him first. So, hey, credit to them, man.
Yeah.
Credit to them. No shade at all.
He doesn't know the reach of John Kurtz.
I've been saving that bullet. But, yeah, I mean, he's a good dude. He's a very nice guy.
Right.
Genuine guy. When I talk to him in person, I know everybody out there is like, yeah, whatever, man. He's just telling you what you want to hear to your face. I guess I would just say all that to say, I don't know. But my impressions of him have not been that he's like some sleazy guy. And I just think if you're the Big 12 or like a Big 12 supporter, what choice do you have? Okay, say he is out fighting for Texas Tech. Well, it's no guarantee that Texas Tech's going to get that invite anyway. And along the way, he may do your league a lot of good. Like you need somebody. If it's not going to be Cody Campbell, who the hell is it going to be that's going to be out there fighting for your conference or teams in your position? So that's been my take on it, is like, look, I get if you want to say, hey, I'm worried about how much he's going to spend for Tech and how much that's going to change the going rate and everything. That can be a separate concern. But what he's doing to try and fight with the Sports Broadcasting Act and going against Sankey and the commissioners, like, I think like the Big 12 needs somebody to shake it up. I got news for you. Status quo, the way it was going, not good. Not good for anybody involved in the Big 12. Not good. So shaking 100%. It up, creating some chaos, see what comes of that. That's what you need. And like I would have said, there's no way that the SEC and Big Ten were not going to get their 4-4-2-2 college football playoff plan.
I would have too.
Brett Yormark stepped up and was like, well, hey, what about 5+11? And everyone's like, well, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Well, guess what? The latest reporting on all that is that the Big Ten and SEC the Big Ten came to the table and was like, hey, all right, fine. How about we do one that's like all four of our leagues get 4 automatic bids, and then we'll tack on some. It got better by actually standing in the way and trying to provide some resistance. So I don't know. I'm just not one that's going to sit here and be like, yeah, cheer for everybody to get railroaded. If Cody Campbell's going to go fight it, whatever his end goal is, I think
we've actually got some leverage now, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean, like, yeah, his political connections are very well known, right? Like, this guy's got some legitimate sway. You needed somebody that had your back to do something to shake it up. So that's my take on it, even if maybe he is imperfect, right? But you don't have much of a choice. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess would be my thing for the Big 12. So
it's just, yeah, exactly. So the Holy War, though, we're going to talk about that next, guys. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys want to hear about that, as well as some other rivalry games. We're going to ask John about this big game this week right after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Wayfair. The holidays are going to be here before you know it, which is exciting, but getting your home ready for guests and celebration can feel like a lot. Maybe serve your ware just a little bit better because it needs a refresh, or at least the guest room could use some new bedding. Wayfair has you everything you need. And if you really want to get holiday ready, Christmas trees, wreaths, bedding, cookware, outdoor inflatables, it's your one-stop shop for everything in the house. And it makes everything easy to personalize for your home, for the holidays, and also with a huge selection to get everybody with their style and budget included. With free and easy delivery, even the big stuff can get you everything you need without the hassle of huge fees for delivery. I kind of like how it's easy to find which pieces fit to fit my style, my budget. Everything was in one place and really was a breeze at the checkout line as well. You can get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less if you head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com with Wayfair. Every style, every home. And, of course, we can't forget about FanDuel, of course. Look, FanDuel is one of those spots. It's pretty simple with them. NFL season's here. They have an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. Don't make you holler. Get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, that's $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com, download the app, and get started today, Junior. Back with John Kurtz. Appreciate you so much for being here, brother. It's Holy War Week. I see you've got your Utah colors. I'm just kidding. Obviously, this is a big game, man. I think anytime you mix anything with religion, it gets dicey. And this is like 100 years worth of dicey. What are your thoughts on this game? This is the biggest one in maybe history.
A long time. I don't feel qualified to like fully answer that. I was going to try and poke around and ask some people that I really trust there. I would definitely, these guys aren't paying me or anything, but I would definitely suggest reading the Deseret News. They do an excellent job covering everything that's going on with BYU and Utah. So I'll curious for their perspective. They've got some guys that have been around that rivalry for a long time, but man, I mean, I can speak to the context of this year. You know, I mean, right now, I think there are really two big questions. One, is Texas Tech like legit competing for a national championship good? And then two, who's number two? Like, who's the biggest challenger in the Big 12? And both of these teams are absolutely in that conversation. And I know you'll say, well, John, I mean, I watched Utah get smoked at home by Texas Tech playing with its backup quarterback. And I mean, that is true. They just got worn down, which is what I talked about Tech on the lines. That's incredible that they've been able to build that. But Utah may have just had the bad luck of getting Texas Tech right out of the gate. You know, from a perception standpoint, Tech's beating everybody this year by 24 plus. Utah was just first in line out of the Big 12. So that may be
Dampier had the ankle that day too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Dampier was gimpy. Now, I mean, this is why we're talking about who's number two, right? Utah's more limited. If you force Devin Dampier to have to beat you with his arm, you're going to be in pretty good shape from what we've seen so far. If you're Arizona State and you're just getting run over and he only has to throw 12 passes, you're in a whole lot of trouble.
West Virginia.
Well, yeah. I was going to try and save you guys on that one, okay? But, you know, I mean, BYU's defense might be good enough to do that. I mean, that's a really good defense. We'll have to see, like, you know, Jack Kelly's health, I think, matters a lot.
For sure.
He's one of the best linebackers in the country. Obviously, Isaiah Glasker is too for BYU. That'll be a big factor in this game. But BYU's got a really salty defense. Story's kind of the same on the other side of the ball, though. Like, Bear Bachmeier is not as purely limited to his legs, I think. He's also not as dynamic with his legs as Devin Dampier is. And he's now starting to turn the ball over a little bit. He's got 3 turnovers and extremely lucky he didn't have a 4th down near the goal line when BYU was driving in to tie the game late against Arizona the other night. But yeah, there's just so many storylines. And then I like this. I know people are like ripping Kyle Whittingham he's drawn a lot of attention for his press conference.
All you just said is I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to talk about, well, he got asked about Bear Bachmeier. Pretty generic, like, softball question you'll see at a press conference. Like, hey, what do you see from Bear Bachmeier? How good has he been? And he's just like, hey, I just want to talk about us. I don't want to talk about them. I've seen the montages of how he just won't say BYU. He'll avoid it. It's kind of like an Ohio State, Michigan thing, right? Like crossing out the M's and all that stuff. Like, I like it. I'm like, that's what rivalries are about in college sports, man. Like, give me some more of that. That's what makes it fun and unique and different from professional sports. Like, heck yeah, man. Give me that from Kyle Whittingham. I dig it. So that also just sort of sparks the conversation and the attention. And we got Big Noon kickoff. I mean, there's just a bunch of storylines. I'm headed out there for the game this weekend. So I'm excited to experience it. I got to see BYU smoke K-State last year in Provo.
It's the best stadium I've been to outside of West Virginia is in the conference.
It's an incredible atmosphere, man. Incredible atmosphere. And I know it'll just be ratcheted up another couple notches with the opponent being Utah instead of K-State. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, they go 65K. They're pretty big. Maybe the biggest in the conference. But yeah, I love the atmosphere there. Obviously, I went out and spent a week, as you know, and really changed my life in a lot of ways being out there. I really enjoyed my time. Got to know those people. I've gotten to know some Utah people on the other side since then. Both fan bases have good and bad. I think as far as the teams go, man, I really love this game this week. And I think, like you said, can you limit Dampier and make him throw the ball? Can you convince Bachmeier to throw a pick or two? Can you punch it out? Because he's had that happen to him as well this year when they've asked him to run it. I think Kirkland, the Oklahoma State transfer, is going to be a big impact in this game. I like him on the defensive line for BYU. He's shown to be really stout up front. I'm really going to – because obviously if, like you said, Dampier is able to run it everywhere and he throws it 8 or 10 times, Utah wins this game on the road and probably in a dogfight. But it's going to be fun to see what happens. It's going to be passionate either way. And like you said, we're going to find out who number 2 is. And I think that's going to be important for just the league as a whole, which we just need. We need some other teams to start creeping up and being relevant alongside Texas Tech this year for this playoff push. We need to start relevancy this year, not next year or the one after that.
Yeah, even if it's going to be a team just to go lose to Texas Tech in Arlington, you want somebody to take control and be like a one-loss team by the time they get there so that they'll have a glossier ranking next to their name. Like, all that stuff really helps. And yeah, your fear is that you just, and right now it's easy to look at all these teams and be like, well, I feel like they're just going to kind of beat each other up. But you look at like Arizona State, Cincinnati, Utah, BYU, TCU, Baylor, like just that whole group, it feels like everyone is pretty likely to just kind of beat each other up. You want someone to emerge from that if they can. Iowa State, another one I should throw in there too. Yeah.
Sure. Stanley, actually, I appreciate that comment about John. It's funny, actually, John, you were one of my first 2 or 3 interviews I ever did a few years back. I don't know if you remember. I've come quite a long way since then, man. And
I would agree.
It's been pretty crazy. The growth. I mean, it helps when you gain a couple thousand subscribers in a week. But I mean, at the same time, we were growing pretty quickly before that. But John's always been gracious about coming on, whether it's you got a following or not. I just wanted to point that out. But thanks for the comment. After the break, guys, we got one more quick break, one read to do, and then we're going to ask John about basketball because it's really close. We're almost there. What does K-State have in store for us this year? And we'll talk some Mountaineers too if we have time. We're getting close to John Kurtz having to be out of here. We'll ask him real quick about basketball after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time. When it comes to Game Time, it's a pretty simple thing too. College football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energies in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But getting tickets can feel a lot more like the game itself with endless queues, hidden fees, and prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees at checkout. What you see, what you pay. Pull up Game Time, just a couple taps, you'll get amazing deals. Your favorite college football games for as low as $25. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app and use the code LOCKEDONCollege to get $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download Game Time today, and you'll find out the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. All right, John, I just now got to see the time there. You got like 2 or 3 minutes here. Give me a quick preview on the K-State here, man. I know you guys have kind of fallen off here, and then you had a good year, you had a bad year. What are the things looking like this year coming in? Big portal class?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the thing with K-State basketball virtually every year, right? Massive portal class. Landing PJ Haggerty was a huge get toward the end of it, right? It was not the fans, I think, were less than impressed for a while. PJ Haggerty changed a lot. They needed to be better in the backcourt. They had a really high profile class last year, but it was all clogged up in the front court. And it was this awkward mess of like 3s, 4s, and 5s that didn't really fit together, and they were not very strong in the backcourt.
Doug and everybody too was like,
and that was, I mean, they put a lot in on Doug McDaniel, and that did not pan out very well. PJ Haggerty he's a much better player than Doug McDaniel. I think the other thing they've really strived to hit is just better attitudes. They've been pretty frank about that. I don't think, I think a lot of the guys that came in last year just were not great culture fits. So they've tried to address some of that. I mean, they've got some talent. Like, again, PJ Haggerty, like Andy Katz continues to list him as the second best transfer in the entire portal class. I think a lot of people would say
he's up there for sure.
A lot of people would say at least like top 10 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big time ad. I like that it's in the backcourt as opposed to the front court. They got Abdi Bashir, mid-major guy who's just an incredible shooter. The thing that's going to be really intriguing that will tell this tale, I think, of this season is 2 guys. they have 3. Doran Buka is another one who's a big. I don't have high expectations for him, but they have 2 European players that I think have really high upsides. One of them, Andre Kostic. He's a guy he's mocked in the first round by some NBA draft boards. He's very young, though. So young, incredibly skilled. The question's going to be, can he defend and be a good teammate and all these things that you need to make it? But kind of a wing and tall, athletic, can score, can shoot, can do about everything you want to do. But again, think, God, why am I blanking on his name? The BYU kid last year, Igor Demin. Kind of a similar-ish sort of player to him last year. And obviously he had a great year and went on and got drafted. If that hits, that'll change a lot. And then Elias Rapique is a guy who was playing in the upper leagues in Germany and is
I remember when you got him.
Yeah, he's another one that I think there's a high ceiling, a lot of high hope for. And
I remember the highlights on him.
Yeah, he's been grinding, man. He's been working. He's the one that I think they really love his attitude and the way he's come in and attacked it, and very mature approach. And so they're gonna need him to hit. That's kind of like your group of 4 that they need to be really, really good, because outside of that, they wound up bringing CJ Jones back, which was a wild thing. He played guard for him last year, was just okay, but they were again, because of the backcourt problems, they were asking him to do way more than he's going to have to do this year. So he can come in and just be a role player. So I think backcourt really strong. Question will be front court. What they really needed, they needed one more 5. And I mean, we had Tang on the 3 Mob podcast within the last month, and he said they were still looking for another big. So I don't know, I know it's October 14th, but they really feel like they would be better off with one more big, and they just missed on another international.
We get somebody to reclassify or something.
I think they're still scouring international players to see if they can slip something in there. So that'll be I guess, long way to say that's the question, is do they have enough in the front court? I think, to me, they feel like a bubble team. I think they will certainly be more fun to watch this year, just because last year it's kind of like the K-State football season this year. At the beginning of the year when they were bad, it was like, when these guys aren't even trying, it's bad effort. It's just, everything looks disjointed and horrible. And I think these guys will play hard. Nate Johnson's another guy I should mention. He's an Akron transfer, really good get in the backcourt, defensive player of the year in the
I watched Akron a lot last year because so many West Virginia teams were on there.
Yeah. Nate Johnson's another guy I think can be a dude for him. So, but that's kind of what they've got. They've got guys who are more like great defenders, program guys, and then one super talent, PJ Haggerty and Kostic, who could be a first-round pick. So they need a lot of things to happen. I'd be happy if they're a bubble team. Certainly would be happy with them sneaking into the NCAA tournament. I think that's kind of your hope.
So obviously you guys were in love with Jerome Tang, 26-10 that first year, followed by a tournament team, 19-15 the second year. Now 16 wins the third year. Is his leash getting shorter?
Yeah, I mean, I think the crazy thing is he's still got a lot of support for NIL. Right. He's a really good fundraiser.
He's so beloved.
He's a really good fundraiser. Obviously, a really personable guy. So I think he's got a lot of great relationships when it comes to that. As far as the university goes, I mean, some of the problem, I can't remember what the buyout is specifically. I mean, you're talking about paying high buyouts, although we appear to be headed to an era where that just isn't a thing anymore. Thank you, Penn State. But yeah, I think if he misses, I mean,
$5 million is a buyout.
Look, if he misses the tournament for a third straight year, I mean, people are going to be furious. That has not been K-State basketball ever since Bob Huggins showed up. K-State's been in the tournament 2 out of 3 years, make a run every 4 years or so in the tournament, kind of a program. So yeah, if he misses the tournament this year, especially with how much money has been invested over the last couple of years, because again, they got a pretty good investment this year. There's gonna be a lot of people screaming for change. I don't know what would happen, but there would definitely be a lot of people screaming for it.
Appreciate it, man. It's been great to have you on. Open for business, everything now, even the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're going open.
Great
for
job
business.
rebranding that. I think that's smart of you. Although your name carries a lot of weight because you built up a lot of equity in the John Kurtz name, but I do think that they can be one and the same going forward. I think you'll be fine. It's a good job. You didn't consult me. You should have consulted me, man. I'm just kidding.
No, well, it is still in the net. It's the title is open for business with John Kurtz. So
okay, good, gotcha.
Now on all your favorite audio platforms, you can find it on Spotify.
Are you finally on audio?
I'm finally on audio. Yeah, I'm finally joining the 21st century.
You got the Discord. We got you on X. What else we got to get you on, man?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're all over the place now. So
good.
Just search John Kurtz or go ofbnews.com to subscribe to the newsletter.
You know, I'm one of your biggest supporters, man. I'm always here for you if you need it. So anything you need, holler at me. I got you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you guys follow John Kurtz wherever you're at, as he is just one of the best voices, best jaw lines in the business. What is that? An upper 1% jawline. So we like to talk about that as well. And I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes, but I'm going to let John go. And thank you guys so much for being here with us. John, I'll see you later, man.
All right. Take care, brother. We'll see you.
All right. All right, guys, that was John Kurtz. Thank you so much for joining us in our conversation. I got a couple other things I want to touch on just really fast before we bounce out of here. The basketball team, obviously, I wanted to touch on West Virginia basketball as well. So, okay, if you didn't see today, there were some things that were released about the basketball team but on X. So what I'm going to do is play that for you because I have an opinion. Let's see. Let me get to it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. 1 second here. We're sharing the screen. For those of you listening, just try to be patient. All right, here we go. So this is 1 minute and 41 seconds of mic'd up Harlan Obioha today on the basketball side as they were working out and doing different things. And there is some interesting stuff here that I want to point out. I don't know. Maybe I should do a whole show on it, but I think I'll just go ahead and do this in a little bit of extra segment, and then I'll probably just cut this 10 minutes out and repost it because there's not a lot of people that, stick around for 45 minutes to watch the whole show, so a lot of people will miss this. But let's watch this really quick, and then I'll give you my opinion.
How we feeling first day in the college? Feeling great. Feeling great. Okay. How you feeling? Good. Is that the camera right there? Yeah, that's good. Hey, Levi. Yeah, shout out Levi. What up, Mom? Oh my God. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I might not miss again the whole rest of the day. So you better not miss this. Oh, wait, are you on my team for 1 2 4? Oh, so I got 50 for you. You missed on purpose. One more, coach. One of them days, man. That's what. Hey, 7-7 on my mother. Come on. I gotta compete today. Compete on 3. 1 2 3. Mine. Hey, if it was easy, everyone would do it, baby. Come on. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Come on. Away screen coming. Take ball. Take corner. Red. Come on, man. That's big time, bro. Okay, come on. Stops on 3. 1 2 3. Come on now. There's your chance. There's one. Come on. DJ. This is a game winner right here, man. Come on. Dive on it. Yes! Man, come on! That's what wins games! Come on, let's go! Come on, baby! 1 2 3! Let's go, man!
Everybody needs a glue guy. And here's the thing. Some people will look at that and be annoyed. And I get that. I totally get that. But here's the thing. With coaches, with glue guys, coaches on the floor like this, they don't really have to be liked all the time. They're just there to help motivate the team as well and coach as well. And I think Obioha, obvious glue guy. You can just tell from watching that. Now, does that enthusiasm stretch over the course of a year? Is he up one day, down the next? These are things I don't know about him, but based on this clip, if that's how he is, we've got a really, really good center on our hands. And you know what else I thought? I reposted this. I said, man, he just looks like he feels good, right? Somebody had posted a picture of him Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. If I type in Harlan Obioha, maybe it'll come up. So somebody posted a picture of him. Yeah, here it is. So this is him. Obviously, he's not fat by my standards by any. I'm not here to talk about anybody's body necessarily. I'm just saying, obviously, he's lost some weight, right? It looks great. He looks terrific. So to me, it just looks like he feels good. And I understand what that feels like. If you've ever felt good in your life, you're happy, right? It's okay to be happy, man. Some people walk around in this life miserable people. Trust me. I deal with them every day. And some people choose not to. It's a choice, right? My emotions, my choice. Just like my body, my choice. My emotions, my choice, right? Which means that I can choose. It's just like have you ever said to somebody, man, you just made me so mad? Well, maybe initially that I get it. People can in a moment cause emotions, but after a while you choose to stay there, right? I think scientifically, I think they say on the extreme side, 5 minutes, you should be able to calm down. And beyond that, you're choosing to stay there, right? You're ruminating, or ruminating just means thinking on this. I can't quit thinking about this. I'm obsessing over this thing that person said or whatever. So that's a similar thing, right? Obioha strikes me as a guy that is a happy person, and it rubs other people the wrong way sometimes. That kind of happy person. Which can, I don't think it's a bad thing though. I mean that in the nicest possible way. I really do. And looking at the roster, I'm pretty sure number 5 was DJ, who he was talking to. Yeah, DJ Thomas. So that's who he was shoving. That was, one of our young freshmen. And just like an 18-year-old looking up at a dad, because Obioha's like 23, 24 years old. He's like, God, okay, man, I did a good job. Quit pushing me. Quit touching me. But, you got to have guys like that'll ride your AWS. You do. You got to have it. And I'm really excited about it, man. I think this team continues to impress me every time I see clips. But I'm also a fan, and I realize that my emotions take me that direction. That oh, man, I'm over the top again. But I really do like this team and how it's constructed. There's one other thing that I think we need to be very, very cognizant of. And for those that you haven't seen Obioha's highlights, we're going to watch him really quick before we jump off here. Amir Jenkins seemed to be, and I want to say Andrew put this out from 247 Sports. Amir Jenkins seemed to be starting today in the lineup. Now, that doesn't mean anything necessarily. It could just be that they had him kind of trying to evenly match the 5, right? But it could be a situation, and here's a great example of this. Last year, one of the best players on North Texas team was Brennan Lorient. Came off the bench, right? First team all-league, came off the bench. Jasper Floyd would be a great 6-man. He would be, because he's a great defender. He can also create, but Amir Jenkins gives you a little more offensive pop, probably. I don't know if he will right away. It's just my gut feeling tells me Amir Jenkins is going to be a really good offensive player at first. I think he's ready for that, but we'll see. I'm getting really excited about this basketball team, guys. Can we just be good at something for once, because it's been a while since we've been good at anything. I mean, think about this. In basketball and football, 2 main sports, we should have been good at Huggins last year before he got canned, unfortunately. And then that team fell apart. Before that, it's been a couple years since we've been good. Let's check out some Obioha stuff. This is him at 280 pounds, and he's lost 60 pounds. So imagine how much leaner and lighter he is now. That's him at 280, guys, right? So at 280, he was able to, as you can see, he's right here. He flashes down, catches a pass, and dunks it. And this is also when he was at Niagara.
242. Obioha to the whole strong.
Chance to tie with a 3 with 5.5 to go. Bumbelow, nice feed from Obioha, who rocks the rim. From below. Obio again in.
Great finisher at the rim, guys. Great finisher at the rim. That's just what he is at his size. You know,
42. Obio
but I think he's got a chance to be a huge impact player for us this year.
From below. Obio again in.
So we'll see what happens with him. But I think he's one of the developments that we have to keep an eye on this year, guys. So how many can he get, to be honest? Can you explain more what you mean there, Shannon? I may not know context here, but you know, anyways, so that's all, guys. I just wanted to point that out. I'm going to go back and do another show here in just a minute. I got a lot more to talk about today, Rich Rod's press conference and things. So there's a lot more to jump into. But we'll get there. I gotta cut this up and repost a couple things. We'll do that here in just a bit. But thank you guys so much for everything. And I'll be back here in just a few, another live video. We're going to be talking about Jamoy Robinson and some things, because Zach Alley had some things to say about Robinson in his press conference today that made my ears perk up. We'll talk about it later. But until then, guys, make sure you check out Locked On Big 12 with Drake Tolles. He does an excellent job every time talking about just that, the Big 12. We'll see you all here in about 30-ish minutes, guys, on another live. I'll be right back. But until then, cue them country roads.